My next guest tonight is Rob Shapland. Rob is head of cyber service at Falanx Cyber. He's also known as an ethical hacker. Rob, it's good to have you on the day. We got in touch with you because of this title, ethical hacker. You know that 3 weeks ago, Ukraine appealed for a global army to convene of IT experts to take on Vladimir Putin. We understand that more than 300,000 people answered that call. Is there any news from the cyber front tonight?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I mean, the IT army of Ukraine, as it's being called, this 300,000 strong IT army is amazing in a way that we've managed to get this many people together to try and attack back at Russia. And what they're doing so far, they're having quite an impact actually on Russia's main websites like the Kremlin and other websites. And what they're doing is something mostly called denial of service attacks. Now, what this does really is it targets websites with so much data that they kind of fall over. So you imagine all those 300,000 people are pointing their computers at one website simultaneously, and maybe they've all got 10 computers or 100 computers each they can use. That floods that website with so much data that it just stops working. And this is what we're seeing with a lot of Russian government websites, is they're getting flooded in this way. They stop working, and it takes them hours or maybe even days to come back. But it's a bit like shining a torch in someone's eyes. So it blinds them for a few minutes until you take the torch off them, and then they recover quite quickly. So it's quite low impact at the moment.
Well, Rob, let me interrupt you. Let me just ask you though. I mean, this sounds though. I mean, it may be low impact, but the impact could be much bigger than we know. I mean, could these IT soldiers, could they be responsible for what we're seeing on the ground? The fact that Russia's military seems to be much more discombobulated than anyone in the West expected?
I mean, undoubtedly, they're having some impact. I wouldn't say they're having a huge impact on the actual military hardware and the invasion and everything like that. I think there are other issues going on there, but there's certainly some level of impact. And amongst those 300,000 people, there are some very, very skilled hackers. You know, not all these people are absolute amazing IT whizzes experts, but some of them are, and some of them are doing more than these denial of service, and they are getting into these government websites and they are stealing data. They're doing more disruptive activities. So there's definitely an impact from this army, and they are proving to be very effective.
Would you say that this cyberspace, is this where you can try to level the playing field between a nuclear superpower, Russia, and a much smaller power, Ukraine?
Definitely. I mean, one of the major advantages of doing this over the cyberspace is that everyone from around the world can get involved. You know, if we were to get involved militarily, then that starts off a whole other thing. But from the cyberspace perspective, you can get involved from anywhere in the world. And you can attack, in a way, Russia, and there isn't the same consequences of doing that. So yes, a small country like Ukraine can fight back with the resources of the entire world cyber community, and also the cyber community coming together to give them defensive tools and things as well to help out.
I have the feeling, Rob, that you're a true matrix man. I understand that you are a world leader in what is known as red teaming. Tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. So red teaming is a full-scale criminal attack on an organization. So most of the time I work with the private sector, looking after businesses, making sure they can't get hacked, which is obviously a big threat at the moment. And red teaming simulates a proper criminal attack. So I'm often just given the name of the company and a particular objective. So can you get in and steal this bit of data or steal this computer or whatever? And I will combine technical cyber attacks, so a bit like you see on the movies when there's hackers banging away at keyboards and there's cubes spinning on the screens and things like that. Combine that with what's called physical intrusion or social engineering attacks. So I will dress up as an employee with a fake ID badge and everything, or perhaps as a telecoms engineer or a COVID-19 inspector or whatever else. I can convince my way past security guards, receptionists, get inside the building of the company I'm targeting. So I'm physically there, and then I will sit down with a laptop in a meeting room or steal a computer and then use that, because that bypasses most of the cybersecurity defenses.
You've done this already.
Combination. Yeah, I've done this probably 200 times against different companies all around the world.
So you're posing as someone else, going inside a building, a physical building, getting into its cyberspace to launch attacks. I mean, you're going from the real world to the virtual world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I spend, probably a week planning how I'm going to break in, watching movement patterns around the building, who coming in, who's going out, making fake ID passes. Then I go in, and then once I'm inside, I will act as an employee. I will sometimes just say good morning to people when they come in, make them a cup of coffee as if I'm a real employee. It's really good fun. And then I'll
Can you tell us what's been your biggest success? I mean, are you able to disclose that or describe it?
Yeah, well, I can't really talk too much about an individual company, but I did do one, a large multinational company, very well defended, brilliantly defended head office. But I dressed up as a telecoms engineer and went to one of their small satellite offices, pretended there'd been a network fault between their head office and their office. So I had a high-vis jacket on, I had a box full of tools and cables and things. And I basically got invited in the front door, taken up in a lift. The guy that I was taken up even said that we don't even use your company, but come in anyway. So he let me in, sat me on a desk, and let me essentially let me hack into their network. Although I was obviously nice and friendly and pretending I wasn't the hacker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I know if we had photos, we wouldn't be able to show them because we don't want to blow your cover. But it's fascinating hearing about this, Rob. Please stay in touch because I have a feeling we will be wanting to talk with you again. Rob Shapland, we appreciate you sharing your story tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.